You know that feeling? When you want something so badly, it's like this ache until you get it.
Oh, absolutely. That intense desire.
Yeah. So today, we're diving into what many people think is the key final step in actually getting those things. It's about trust. Trust in the universe.
And that word trust, it's huge, isn't it? What does it even mean in this context? It's this uh, deep belief, right, that things are working out for you. We've been looking at some really interesting takes on this.
Exactly. We've got some great source material that kind of unpacks this final piece. So our mission, listener, is to really get a handle on what this trust thing is all about, how it actually works, and maybe how you can use it to, reach your goals without feeling totally overwhelmed by it all.
Okay.
So where do we start? What is trust in the universe, really?
Well, the way it's often described is it's like an inner knowing,
Yeah.
a feeling. You don't necessarily need the roadmap. You don't need to see exactly how it's all going to unfold.
Right.
It's more this steady faith, this core belief that the things you genuinely want are, well, on their way.
It makes me think of that Norman Vincent Peale quote we saw. Something like, "The secret is knowing what you want."
And believing you can have it.
That belief part, that
Mm.
seems key. But, how is that different from just sitting back and wishing for stuff?
That's a really good question because it's not passive. Wishful thinking is maybe just hoping, but this trust, it's described as more active. It goes hand in hand with taking action, but
Without trying to force it.
exactly,
Right.
without needing to control every little detail. The sources really emphasize that manifesting isn't about wrestling things into existence. It's more about surrender.
Surrender. Okay, that word can sound a bit passive, like giving up. But I liked the analogy they
The
used.
Google Maps one.
Yeah, like visualizing your goal sets the destination in the app. Manifestation is the GPS guiding you. You still have to, drive, take the actions, make the turns, but
Ah.
you trust the system to get you there. What happens if you fight the GPS?
Right? You end up lost or stressed or constantly second guessing. You miss the signs because you're too busy worrying or trying to find your own shortcut that maybe isn't even there.
Huh, yeah, done that.
Haven't we all? And in manifesting, that lack of trust, that constant checking and worrying, it can actually block the flow.
Yeah.
And what's really powerful is how this trust changes how you see, well, setbacks.
Okay, yeah. The author mentioned that, how they used to see rejection as proof they weren't good enough.
Yeah, really internalizing it.
But shifting to trust meant seeing it more as like the GPS rerouting you.
Exactly, a redirection,
Yeah.
not a dead end.
Hmm.
And you can see how that wider perspective starts to change other things too. It chips away at that feeling of having to settle or feeling envy.
Oh, envy. Yeah, that's a big one.
Right. Or that inner voice telling you you're not worthy. Trust kind of replaces that with a sense of deservingness almost. And it actually makes you feel more inspired. The core idea is that the universe isn't stingy. There's enough good stuff for everyone.
And this ties into that whole high vibration concept, doesn't it? The idea that feelings like trust, confidence, certainty, they operate on a different frequency.
Yeah, that's the framework.
Yeah.
These feelings are seen as high vibe and like attracts like. So being in that state of trust and positivity supposedly makes you more receptive to abundance.
How does that actually work, though, practically?
Well, think about it. When you trust things are working out, you're probably more open, right? You spot opportunities you might have missed if you were consumed by worry.
Okay.
You're maybe bolder in taking action because you're not paralyzed by fear of failure. It's like tuning into the right radio station. You have to be on the frequency to hear the music.
Gotcha. And it seems like that trust directly feeds into gratitude, too.
Oh, definitely. That connection is really clear.
Because if you truly believe good things are coming, you're not stuck feeling like something's missing right now. You can actually appreciate what you have.
Exactly. You can be present. That house hunting example was perfect.
Right. The difference between desperately scrambling, feeling every no like a disaster.
Versus trusting the right place will show up and actually being able to maybe even enjoy the process. Seeing different places, even the ones that aren't it.
Yeah, it changes the whole energy from anxiety to anticipation.
Joyful anticipation even.
Well,
And it connects to that idea of being grateful now, not just when you get the thing, being thankful for what is while still wanting more. But, and this is a big but, according to the sources.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is where things often get tricky for people. Impatience.
Ah, yes. The enemy. Especially today, with everything being so instant.
Totally. We want the Amazon Prime delivery for our life goals. So when something we really want doesn't show up on our schedule.
It feels like torture, and you start doubting.
Exactly. Which is where this concept of divine timing comes in. What's your take on that?
Well, the material presents it as, like, the universe's own perfect timing based on energy and readiness and things we can't always see.
Right. It's this belief that things unfold when they're meant to, for reasons that serve a bigger picture, even if it's not when we want them.
So trusting divine timing means letting go of the rigid deadlines, the I need this by Tuesday mentality.
Pretty much. It's releasing that need to control the when, recognizing that maybe other pieces need to fall into place first, things totally outside our control.
Okay, so it's not just sitting back and doing nothing then. It sounds more like staying present, finding joy in the journey itself, not just waiting for the destination.
That's exactly it. And the sources touch on why impatience is so common. It's not just the instant gratification culture. Waiting can poke at our deepest insecurities, can't it?
Yeah, like, am I good enough? Does the universe even care? Did I do something wrong?
All of that. It
Oh.
becomes a real test of self-belief.
I remember reading about that friend the author mentioned, the one who was so impatient to find a partner.
Oh, right. The fear of being alone was driving her.
Yeah, and she jumped into something that wasn't right. Basically because she couldn't trust that the right thing would come if she just waited and lived her life.
Mm-hmm. It shows how that desperate, impatient energy can almost push away what you want. It's like she was interfering with her own divine timing.
It wasn't until she let go of that neediness, apparently, and started trusting.
That the right person showed up.
Yeah.
It really loops back to that core theme,
Yeah.
letting go.
Yes. Letting go seems to be threaded through everything. Letting go of old versions of yourself, fears, doubts, the need to know how.
It sounds like a lot to let go of.
It does, but the idea presented is that trust makes it easier. Almost. Effortless. How does that work?
Well, the thinking is if you genuinely trust yourself, trust the process, trust the universe, then those things you're holding on to, they start to feel less like essential life rafts.
And more like dead weight.
Exactly. Like baggage you can finally set down. The letting go isn't a painful sacrifice, it's a relief.
Yeah.
The real power, the magic as they put it, is in that surrender.
And the author's own story about manifesting their book, the one we're drawing from, is such a perfect illustration of all this.
It really is. It brings it all together. You have this childhood dream, right?
Yeah.
Being an author.
Yeah, which probably got buried under life stuff for a while.
Happens to many of us. But then discovering manifesting brings it back. And the first step is just that core intention, that trust. I'm going to write a book. No agent, no deal, maybe not even a full idea yet, but the decision is made.
Rooted in trust.
Mm.
And then these like almost unbelievable things start happening. An agent just contacts her on Instagram out of the blue.
Seems wild, right? But it provided that initial spark, some direction, and then the agent has to step back,
Oh, no.
which could have been crushing.
Totally. Could have been, see, it's not meant to be.
But instead it became a catalyst for like internal work, facing those fears, those, am I really good enough for this? Doubts.
That seems so crucial, building up that inner belief before the next step, which was deciding to go for it independently, right? Putting that vision board goal out there.
Yes. Book written, edited, and ready for publication. That's a bold statement of trust and intent.
And then taking action, that Instagram story, asking for contacts. Not just waiting, but acting from that place of trust.
Inspired action. And then an offer comes in. Seems like mission accomplished.
That gut feeling, that inner knowing, saying, maybe not this one. That takes serious courage to listen to.
It really does. To turn down a concrete offer when the dream is right there. That's a massive act of trusting that something even better is possible. A real test.
Wow. And then what happens?
Serendipity kicks in. Talking to a friend who connects her with her agent, who then connects her directly with an editor at Penguin, her dream publisher.
Oh, way.
Yes, way. And that little detail about the Susan Jeffers book on the editor's desk,
Yeah.
feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a wink from the universe, isn't it?
Totally. A sign. Confirmation.
Exactly. And the timing.
Mhm.
Signing with Penguin. Exactly 1 year after that first manifesting workshop she attended.
That's incredible. It really does feel like all the pieces clicked into place, orchestrated by something bigger, all held together by her trusting the process, even the setbacks.
It's a powerful example.
Yeah.
And it encourages us, in our own lives, to maybe start noticing those little coincidences, those unexpected nudges or connections.
And see them not just as random luck, but as maybe evidence. Evidence that this energy, this force, is actually interacting with us.
Right, and noticing them really strengthens that muscle of trust. It makes it easier to believe next time.
So wrapping up this deep dive then, it feels like the core message is trust isn't passive. It's not just waiting around.
Not at all. It's an active belief. It's the fuel for the journey. It helps you navigate the bumps, stay open, and creates the space for things to unfold, sometimes in ways you couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it helps overcome the fear, lets you feel grateful during the process, helps you accept that things have their own timing.
And ultimately, it's that surrender, that trust-filled letting go, where the real transformation happens.
So, a final thought for you, the listener. Think about something you really desire right now, where in that whole process of wanting and working towards it, could you maybe lean in with a bit more trust, even if you have absolutely no idea how it's going to happen?
And maybe start keeping an eye out. What little synchronicities, what unexpected coincidences might pop up when you deliberately cultivate that trust?
It's fascinating to think about, isn't it? That dance between setting your intention and then trusting the unfolding.